Have you got some health and fitness goals that you would really like to achieve? Come listen to this interview with my good friend, Jeni Coppage. She's going to help all of us get into the mindset that will help us to be the most successful. Help me welcome my good friend, Jeni Coppage. She is a wife and mom to three adult children whose purpose in this season of her life is to help women get physically and emotionally healthy. She's a certified faster way to fat loss coach, as well as a certified Christian life coach. She loves helping women achieve their goals and create lives that they love. Jeni and I met actually through life coaching, and we have really enjoyed getting to know each other over the last few years. So let's chat today, Jeni, about the right mindset that helps with your health and fitness journey.
Yes, thanks, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be here. And I love talking all things health and wellness. And as a life coach, I really love to focus on the mindset aspect.
Yes, that is so important for like all of life, it feels like, right?
Yes, yes. And I think one of the things that drew me to becoming certified as a life coach was I was coaching my clients in Faster Way. And shortly after I became a coach, I became a part of LMS and had a life coach and just realized how important the mindset aspect was, not just to life in general, but specifically to your health and wellness goals. And so
Yeah.
when the opportunity, came to be certified as a life coach, um, that was my initial driving, decision maker as to become a life coach was to help women with their health and wellness goals, focusing on their mindset.
So Jeni, tell us a little bit about your best tips for how to get the right mindset when you want to begin a health and fitness journey.
Okay, so whenever you begin a health and fitness journey, it's great to understand your why you're wanting to do it, and also to set realistic goals. So many times women come in and they want to just focus on the number on the scale, and they want to lose a really, a lot of times a really big number in a short amount of time. And quite frankly, people tend to set unrealistic goals. They just pick numbers out of thin air and they want to. I always tell my clients, you can't struggle or beat yourself up into change, beat your way into change. You really need to have a mindset of creating a new lifestyle. So many times people want to, I think the majority of the time people, join like particularly fast way and they want to lose a specific number of pounds. And that's their measure. And we all know that that is, as women, I'm almost 50. Your pounds change throughout different seasons of our lives. And it's really not a good indicator of your overall health. And my goal is to make women healthy, not just quote unquote thinner or smaller. So a lot of times that stops women in their track because they just think it's all about the number on the scale. And I give them an opportunity to pause and slow down and focus on their health
Mm,
and to really realize that one question I like to ask them, at what point in your life do you not want to be healthy?
mm. That's a great question. I love that.
Yeah, because people want to do drastic things. I think everyone can, identify if it wasn't themselves, they know someone that maybe they went low carb or they did a whole 30 and they lost a ton of weight in a really short amount of time. And then maybe you see them 6 months later and all that weight is back.
Mhm.
And that's really discouraging to a woman because they did all this effort and they put in all this work and they got the results, but they weren't able to maintain it. And and that's disappointing and it's discouraging and it makes it hard to keep going. And so I take my clients and I tell them to pause, slow down, and let's make this a lifestyle change.
Mm.
Let's think of this as a long term and let's change the way we eat overall. We don't have to remove, you know, all these different food groups and deny ourselves. You can make small, sustainable changes that you can do for the rest of your life versus these, drastic major changes that you can do for a short time. And they give you maybe a quicker result in the short term, but in the long term, you don't progress in your health and wellness the way that you really want.
I love that because I do think of looking at any goals, especially with health and fitness, as a lifestyle. I think that's a wonderful perspective. And, so would you say probably that's the number one mindset that's most important to sticking with a goal?
That is the key to making the changes. And you have to learn. So many people don't we don't know about nutrition. Most doctors, and I have friends that are, physicians, that they're like, we don't get the nutrition training as a medical doctor. Um, and there's tons of information out there. And, I tell my clients, focus on whole food nutrition. Does your food come from the ground? Does your food have a mother? Is the ingredient list short? Can you say all the words? I mean, granted, obviously there's times when you're going to buy a prepackaged food. There's going to be times when your only option in some small rural town might be a McDonald's and a, Subway. And you can find decent things at both of those places. So it's not, all or nothing, but to learn, really what is good, healthy food, kind of eat like people ate 100 years ago. Few ingredients, and also just to take it slow. There's also so much information out there that makes you think like nothing's healthy. I just saw somebody on Instagram the other day talking about how eggs are not healthy for you. And I'm like, it's just, you could flip through, the internet and social media and basically feel like the only thing you could live off of is water. And even that, and sometimes will make you, seem unhealthy. So make small changes, know where you currently are and where you want to go. And also another big factor is to stay in your lane. Don't compare your health journey to your girlfriend's health journey, because we're
Oh,
all so different. Our bodies physiologically are just different, and our hormones are different. We're all in different seasons of our lives. And, you know, our bodies respond different to different things.
that is great advice. And I'm sure with our world of social media, it's so important to keep in that mindset of staying in our lane and not comparing. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And find something that really sticks with you. If I had a client, a life coaching client, who had two friends that went vegan and they lost a ton of weight. And so she thought she needed to go vegan, but she really didn't want to be vegan. That really wasn't a passion. And I'm like, something like going vegan takes a big commitment. And, it's like you can't compare, if that worked for them, great, but they obviously were really committed to that lifestyle. And if you and your family, if that's not going to work, and if you're not wholeheartedly committed to something like that, take it off the table. Don't think that that's the only way for you to achieve your health goals is by copying what someone else did. Like, really find what resonates with you and what's sustainable for you. I mean, most people don't want to live a life without ever being able to have, a cookie here and there and cake for birthdays and enjoy all the holiday treats. Another thing I like to point out, people, a lot of times you'll hear 80-20, eat, healthy 80% of the time and 20% of the time. And I think that's a great guideline. And to put it in perspective, if you ate and just were completely unhealthy 10% of the year, that's over 30 days.
Mm.
It's so, and people like get hung up about, eating on Thanksgiving and, eating on Christmas. And I'm, as, a health coach, is like, enjoy it. Enjoy grandma's pecan pie or sweet potato casserole. We enjoy the birthday celebrations. Don't hold back. Those are where our memories are made. That's our culture is, we celebrate life with food, and it's not a bad thing.
That is great advice, and I love that. I think that what I'm hearing here is the lifestyle mindset and being flexible, you
Yes.
know, making it be sustainable. I love all of that language that you're using, and having realistic goals is what I'm hearing. Um,
Yes.
make small changes. I just think this is such good advice because this time of year, a lot of people are looking at changes that they can make, and they may be setting an unrealistic goal just because it ties into, a lot of goals at the beginning of a year usually. And so I love your advice here is great. Um, I think another thing that I feel is important that I feel like you're also saying, and I've heard you say before, is about perfectionism. Can you explain to us how that ties into what you're telling us today?
Yes, yes. I think um, women, as women especially, no, we don't expect this from other people. We definitely don't expect it from our kids, even our spouses, but we expect perfection from ourselves. And especially when we start a health journey. So many clients come and, they start the first week off strong, right? We've all been there January 1st. You're cooking all your meals at home, you're drinking your water, and then that first weekend comes. And you're like, I'm going to have that slice of pizza. Or, the first birthday party comes, and then you just think, I blew it. So I'm going to blow the rest of the weekend. Or maybe another common scenario is people go really hard for 3 to 4 weeks and they're not seeing the results that they want. And it's really hard. It is hard to put in that much work and that much effort. And maybe the scale isn't moving like you think it should, or your clothes aren't fitting like you think you should. And you've been perfect, right? You've done everything right. And so they just quit because it's not working. And and it's that perfectionism that it's gotta, I've got to be perfect, my results have to be perfect, and that's where people it becomes a stumbling block. And so I always say, and you've probably heard this, is progress over perfection, and it is so true on a wellness journey. I always tell my clients, because so many women come to me and they've tried one diet after the other, and they've tried so many things over the years, and they quit. And as a life coach, is like when you quit at things and stop doing it, you go into the next endeavor with that in the back of your mind. Like, I quit.
Mhm.
That's just what I do. And so when things get tough, you're more likely to quit. And that's okay. And so I tell my clients, just take that time between quitting and getting back at it, make that shorter. Like, so if maybe you quit and then you didn't try again for another year. And then the next time you did it, and maybe you tried again in 6 months. Well, how about maybe if you quit, you pick yourself back up the next week, even the next day, and look at that as a win. Like, you're making progress, and to not give up on yourself, not to be focused on perfection, because perfection is not the goal. Perfection isn't what's going to give you results that are sustainable. It's learning to have stumbles, because this is real life. You're not going to eat perfect at every meal. And that is okay. And to allow for that, and just to tell yourself, oh yeah, I'm a human. This is what we do. Sometimes we just want a big piece of pizza, or we want to enjoy the chips and guac and, a big enchilada. And that's okay. That's okay.
I love that. I think, Jenny, you've convinced me, and I'm sure many of the listeners, that coaching with you would be very beneficial to not only having a healthy mindset, but also reaching some fitness goals. I
Yeah.
really appreciate these tips that you share with us and a lot of wisdom that you've shared today. I'd like to reach out to Jen, find out more about her coaching, either for life coaching or for fitness and health coaching. You can reach out to her through those show notes. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Stephanie. I've had a great time chatting with you.
Until next time, this is my hope for you. May you find glimmers of hope everywhere. Be sure to follow and share this podcast. You can find me at stephaniejohns.com. You can use the show notes below for coaching and to join my email list, Hope and Wellness. Be sure to grab that mental health checklist and my favorite planner. All of this and more in the show notes below.